That was Sonata Arctica with Kingdom for a Heart off of Ecliptica. Before that, Dynasty with Freeman's Anthem off of Titanic Mess. Stradivarius with The Game Never Ends off of Elysium. And Black Sabbath with Die Young off of Heaven and Hell. That's the oldest song I've played probably in several weeks at this point. That record came out when I was in high school. That hurts. Orphan Land with the title track off of All Is One started that off. Looks like it's the end of the first hour, start of the second hour. So that means it's time for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. Joined in the studio by several of the folks that are going to be on a show we're going to talk about that'll be coming up next weekend. TK0, Drex, Odell, and Thomas the Benjamin Keith of High Society. And Drex and TK, Pinnacle FC. I haven't been brave enough to turn their mics on yet, so I'm going to kick off the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, and they're nodding like, "Yeah, we understand." And then we'll get started, and I think we're gonna try to spend the entire hour talking wrestling. Let's see if we can do it.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
Alrighty, it's the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on Sunday, October 6th. I'm very frightened at the moment because this studio is arranged where I'm kind of sitting in a seat by myself, and sitting across the table and around from me are three large gentlemen that are very intimidating, and so I'm going to try to behave myself.
I feel like you're being very nice to Thomas the Benjamin Keith right here.
You're kind of outnumbered here tonight.
Well, you know, my partner, Young Money, had a very important business meeting, so he won't be joining us tonight.
Finances never stop.
Nope,
24/7. So we've got TK0 to my left.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
And you're welcome. Thanks for coming in. Drex Odell straight across.
Hello.
And Thomas the Benjamin Keith to my right.
Hello.
He represents High Society. Are you exactly one half of High Society? Is it like a 60-40 split, or how does that work?
It's 50-50 with us.
Okay, that's good. So unfortunately, his partner Eric, Young Money, couldn't make it. And so, yeah, it's 2-1 Pinnacle FC against High Society. Ready, set, go. No.
I mean, if you notice, he didn't bring his belt. So.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we have planned for the evening. We're going to talk wrestling. The main topic that we're going to get into in just a bit is a tag team tournament coming up next weekend down in Crawfordsville, put on by New Generation Wrestling, and it's called Quest for the Cup. It is a 12 tag team tournament down at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds, and these gentlemen are here because they're all involved in that. So we'll talk about all the teams that are involved in that, listen to some things that people involved in that tournament have had to say on Facebook, maybe get some feedback. And before we get there, we'll just go in a time machine and look back over this past weekend and look ahead at other shows that are coming up next weekend as well, because it's been a busy couple of months, at least the last month or so. There's been a lot of shows going on.
Especially now that summer's over, it seems to be picking back up again for a lot of companies in the area. So,
all right, there is no shortage of. Drive in any direction out of here, and you're going to hit a wrestling show on a Friday or Saturday night within about an hour and a half, I think. So, just this past weekend, there were at least 4 different shows within a reasonable drive of here, either Friday or Saturday night. And let's just quickly mention those, and you guys can provide any feedback. And I know some of you were involved in at least one of these. I went out to South Bend Friday night to see Pro Wrestling King's Halloween. It wasn't Halloween Havoc.
Halloween Mania.
Halloween
6,
Mania 6.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a pretty fun show. 3.5 hours long. It was at the Century Center. I like watching shows there. It's a strange venue for a wrestling show, but it works somehow. And the chairs are comfortable.
That's always a plus.
Which is a lot better than many of the other
Folding
places
steel
we
chairs
see.
without any padding or anything like that. Yeah.
The main event of that event was Congo Kong against Anthony Lee in a body bag match. And those two guys worked their butts off for a long time.
Smash on.
Although the body bag match concept needs a little bit of work, because especially when you're looking at two guys as big as they are, and they're trying to roll each other around and get each other in the body bag and zip it up. And
it's like when Undertaker had to make a custom massive size casket for Yokozuna, and the Giant, Big Show. Like, I can't imagine finding a body bag for either of those gentlemen. They're both tall, large, and
Especially Kong.
Yeah.
Kong's
Yeah.
a beast through and through.
there were some really fun visuals in that match. I've been watching Anthony Lee a lot recently, and I really like watching him work. There was a fun visual where Anthony Lee actually had Congo Kong in the bag, almost zipped up. And then you mentioned The Undertaker. It was a very Undertaker-like thing where this hand just sticks up out of the bag and catches Anthony Lee around the neck, and it goes from there. Congo Kong eventually won that one, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of matches go with him is he wins.
It's fairly predictable.
it's hard to beat that, man.
You probably wouldn't make a lot of money, betting on that, because I'm pretty sure the
wouldn't
odds
take
are
bets
always
on
in one
it.
It'd
direction.
be like betting for the Washington Generals against the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, North Korea took the Globetrotters to a tie.
Oh, that's true. Evidently, we don't know about, and was it just like Kim Jong-il had the most hole-in-ones at all time?
He had all of them.
Every single
He had all of them.
hole on the course was a hole-in-one. Yeah.
Let's see. Smash Mouth Pro Wrestling had a show out in Lake Station, and I guess Buff Bagwell was part of. Were you there
Yes, I was.
Awesome.
Part of
What-
that match.
with Buff?
Yep.
Nice. How did it go?
Well, we didn't come out the victors, but me and Kurt, we're doing fine by ourselves there.
Kurt Joseph was.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I always have. I didn't get to see that one, and Smash Mouth is very sporadic over the last couple of years. But I always have a soft spot for that name, because that was the very first independent pro wrestling show I ever saw here in Valpo.
I actually have a good story about that when I was when I was just making my break into pro wrestling. That was one of the first shows I was put onto, was a Smash Mouth event, and a whole bunch of us that had graduated. Basically, my whole class had graduated from School of Rock. We're going there, and one of the wrestlers, Johnny Knives, we're talking to him like, yeah, we're going to Smash Mouth on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. Thought we were going to a concert. Didn't realize we were going to a show to work. He's like, I thought we were going to see the band. I'm like, no, we're all here to work.
Not to be confused with Rockstar Johnny Knives.
Johnny Knives, which also confused me because everybody would be like, hey, we're going to Johnny Knives on this show. And I'm like, I don't think Johnny Knives.
That's what I thought he said.
No. So, that is my Smash Mouth. That and meeting a lot of old timers.
Legends.
Legends.
There you go.
It's always really cool. They always seem to have a few, bigger names.
Yeah, I saw Bushwhacker Luke at one of the shows over here at Inman's a few years ago. That's good times. Well, also this weekend, I mentioned New Generation Wrestling, NGW. They're the ones putting on the tag team tournament that we're going to talk about in detail in a bit. But they just had a show. It was last night.
Yes, it was.
All right. And raise your hand if you were involved in that.
I was there as a fan, hanging out and checking everything backstage with everybody, but I did not perform on the show last night.
Ah, okay. Well, so we had High Society. Was it High Society versus Jamie Crisis and Jeremy Hadley?
Yes, but the titles were on the line. We didn't think they deserved a title shot against us.
Well, Crisis and Hadley are two guys you want to talk about that have put NGW on their backs at times and helped bring in the fans and all that stuff over the years. Whether people hate Hadley or love Hadley, they are there booing or cheering. And they took you guys pretty hard to your limits last night.
Oh yeah.
I
The match
wouldn't.
got
I
thrown
wouldn't.
out,
I wouldn't have
but-
walked out of the ring with my head up just because you didn't put your belts on the line last night, mate. You've got a reckoning coming next time you face them for those belts.
Well, that's your opinion.
And I'm always correct. I don't know what to tell you.
I made a list of some of the matches that I could find on Facebook. Crimson Dynamo versus Gideon. Here's a
That
puzzler.
sucked for Dynamo.
You guys can tell me about this one. The Ultimate Beatbox Boys with Busy BKI Double D and Jam Master Tasty Davy D.
Who was that?
Did I do that right?
Was that Tater Tot?
That would be.
That would-
I was hoping his name was going to be Jam Master Tater Davy D, but it's
The Tater
Tasty
Tot?
Davy
It
D.
was
Who's
David
this?
Forrest.
Who's this?
You might have met the man. He's got a little bit of a crazy personality. We'll talk about it off
Yeah,
there. We'll have to talk about that off the air for you. That was a very interesting matchup, I might say. And who were their opponents again, Ken?
I don't know. It showed the card that was on Facebook had those two
They had
announced as a team. They didn't say who
Chris
they were
Gordon,
facing.
and there was a young man who faced off against them. I don't know who he was. He was under a mask. It was the first time I've ever seen him before.
Ravager?
That sounds about right. Ravager, maybe. Yeah, he had a mask and everything. Kid had a good build and everything, but it was that was an interesting matchup. Those two were wrestling out there like '90s breakdancing, freestyling, beatbox, I would keep my eyes on them. They're pretty entertaining.
Thank God they're not in the cup. They'd be heavy favorites now.
They would take everything away from us after this, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep an eye on YouTube and see if I
Yeah,
can catch that.
There
definitely.
goes all our gimmick money.
Yep.
I would like to see how long the ring announcements take when they're getting introduced with those names.
Oh yeah.
Also, this weekend was Heroes and Legends out in Fort Wayne. Have you guys ever been involved in that or gone to that?
Nope.
It's sort of a big fan festival where they bring in some of the, as you were saying, the legends, heroes and
feel
legends.
like
so Sting was
it's in
there,
the
and Lex
name.
Luger,
I was going
and
to say the Bambinos have been on it for a while. And I feel like they've been running that card. When they're on it,
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like they are the main event. And I heard
Yeah.
from the talk, I heard that it sounded like they had an amazing match. I don't know the team
It's
they
hard
went
to top
against,
those
but
guys, man. They always put them on.
yeah.
well, there's going to be plenty of chances to see them coming up as well. So, coming up next weekend, there will be a couple of choices of things to do, or you can do both. I plan on doing both. And the shows involve a lot of the same people. So, Friday night, Acme Championship Wrestling with Asylum 5
Yep.
at Lake Village Elementary School. And is that a fundraiser for the school like the other ones are at?
No,
Last time.
most of the shows at ACW, if they're not a direct fundraiser for a school function, or we've done stuff for the local animal rescues before, but this one is strictly just going to be basically for the DeMott Boxing Club. It's ACW
Uh-huh.
It's a
helps raise money.
fundraiser
home
for my
base.
wallet.
Yeah, well,
Pay me.
there's that too. But yeah,
We
that's,
don't have to worry about that, TK.
whatever, Thomas.
I'll take your payday.
Here we go. Anyways, gentlemen.
Oh,
So every October is loosely Halloween themed. Let's put it that way. So far, I think we've had a couple of casket matches over the years. There's nothing like that this weekend. I think it's just a straight up normal card, and that's
Sure.
about it.
And this is coming off the show they just did last weekend.
Yep.
So that's two shows within
Yeah,
just one empty weekend in between.
Yeah,
You're
continuing
welcome,
on the
You're
first
welcome.
round of the ACW Tag Team Championship tournament. So
Which you'll see us beating Bambinos.
Yeah, High Society versus the Bambino Brothers.
and you've got the debuting Rat Pack taking on Top Guns. So that'll
And
be
is that
interesting.
that's Diesel, Troxy, and Tony Thunder?
Yes, Tony Thunder and Diesel Troxy will be representing the Rat Pack for the first time at ACW this Friday night. So it's going to be two great matches. I don't know which way to go with either of those, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Crimson Dynamo's doing another open challenge. And on the poster, I see Jimmy Holmes, Dave Allen, and Jeremy Hadley, but I haven't come across any information about how they're kind of
Well, Jimmy
getting
Holmes,
organized in terms of matches.
As you were at the last show, you saw
Yes.
that there really was no resolution to Jimmy Holmes versus Dave Allen. And I believe Dave has challenged Jimmy Holmes to I don't even know exactly what, but I do know he's challenging him to a match. And I know that whether they go ahead and go talk about it themselves or what, I don't know. That's on them. They may even bring it up at the show. We'll see how things go on that one, but I don't expect that one to be a walk in the park for either gentleman.
All right. Well, he isn't here, but Young Money did have something to say on Facebook about the match coming up. So let's hear that, as long as this cable works. As long as my tablet works. Well, let's try Diesel Troxy.
NGW. My name is Diesel Troxy. I am one half of the tag team known as the Rat Pack. On October 11th, me and my partner Tony Thunder are coming to you to enter the ACW Tag Team Tournament and leave as champions. In the first round, we face a team known as the Top Guns. Guns, you're good, but you ain't us good. And on the 11th, you get to learn a valuable lesson. Winning ugly is still winning. See you on the 11th, boys.
Well, there you have Diesel Troxy. He's talking big for somebody coming in for the first time to ACW.
Yep.
I'm going to try one more time for this other one to come up. There it is.
So ACW is putting on a tag team tournament to crown new tag team champions. Okay. That's funny. Because you and I both know that those title belts deserve to just be given to high society after everything we've done in ACW. But since we're having this tournament, I do believe we've earned ourselves a couple demands. One, Thomas, Benjamin, Keith, and myself, we're taking the night off. A little R&R never did anybody any harm. And my next demand is that when we do have our first tournament match on October 11th, I can't think of a better team to call out than the Bambinos. Now, Vinny and Dom, we do have a history, but high society's willing to put our money where our mouths are. Now let's see if you've got the cojones to show up. Cash rules everything.
You bring him tacos one time to a show and he thinks he can say that word, huh? All right.
Did he say it right?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's wrong. Sounds wrong. I mean, it's Young Money. It's probably
I
wrong.
was surprised myself he said it. I have no control over what he says.
Yeah, well, you know.
The visual punctuation at the end of that was Young Money throwing a wad of cash at the camera that was filming him. For those people that have not seen High Society in action, they tend to let you know that they seem to be fairly... They have a good cash flow. Let's put it that way, with their ring gear. They're in green. What's the name of the music that you come out to? It's a classical piece that just smells of money, and I don't remember the name.
Know anything about their music? They pay a guy to do all this stuff for them.
That's right.
They didn't make their belts. They paid a guy to make their belts. I mean, they're full of money. I'm not going to take that away from them. They're pretty good wrestlers, though. I did enjoy spearing Young Money into a bunch of chairs at the last NGW show.
And I did enjoy Buck Sexton hitting your boy over here with what was it? A confetti bottle?
Yeah, a champagne bottle with confetti loaded in it. Yeah, it was fantastic. Let me tell you.
It was fantastic.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
You would have liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Not,
like
not
it was
the
fun.
ending. The ending was awful.
No, we
but
don't want to talk about that. Underhanded tactics and everything.
I did run a dude into a bunch of chairs. That was pretty cool.
It's sweet.
It was so loud that even John, the referee, had to turn his head and look over like, what the heck was that? And that, of course, gave them their key moment to take advantage of the situation.
All right.
That wasn't me. I'm not the unprofessional one.
I know. I was going to say, Steve Austin would say, oh, you a swig of beer.
The last show upcoming to mention before we get on to what is our conversational main event here. At the end of the month, Saturday, October 26th, Backbreaker Wrestling, the Sharpshooter Submission Tournament. Now, that doesn't mean that all the matches have to end with a sharpshooter, right?
No. It's just
Submissions only.
submissions only for the finishes. And yeah, there's some good matches lined up for that tournament, I'll tell you what.
And not all the matches are tournament matches, but we got Richie Rothschild versus Dave Allen. That's a tournament match. Angus McDuff versus Luis Rojas.
Both of those.
Brentley Alexander Dawson versus Zach Hendricks. I've not seen Zach Hendricks before.
I have not either. I've heard great things, though.
Jake Rohn and Johnny Motley versus, this name's coming up a lot, High Society.
That's right.
God.
We're just everywhere.
You're very busy.
There's diseases that get everywhere, too, and no one's that psyched about it.
Yeah. Ebola.
Do you give like a discount
Scabies.
for a large volume of shows? If you're on a certain number of shows, your rates go down, or how does that work? No. He looked at me like, "Are you even speaking English?" Drex Odell and Kevin Graves versus Dick Davis and the Polish heartthrob Jaron Skalka.
Yeah, that's an exciting match for me because I've never. Well, let me retract that statement. It's been a very long time since I've been in the ring with Dick Davis. In fact, back in the Fire Pro days, over in Maryville at Impact Church, I was tagging up with the big man Xavier Mustafa and Team Blackout, and we took on the Princes of the Universe back in that day, and that was Dick Davis and the wonderful Tristan Hayes, who I have not seen or spoken to in a long time. He's kind of keeping himself out of the all-seeing eye of the public, I guess. I don't know. He's a good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we faced off against each other in that one. It's been almost 3 years. And I've never been in the ring with Jaron Skalka, and I've watched him quite a bit. It's going to be interesting. My partner in that match, on the other hand, I don't know how to take him seriously sometimes, carrying around his high school yearbook. And
Let's not talk about my boy Kevin Graves. Come on.
Don't get me wrong. He's talented. He's very strong. I mean, you just watched the match that he had against Austin Fury over at the Discovery Charter School. I was privy to some of that footage, and that was he's a tough guy. So I think him and I can work some magic. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get on the right foot together.
Can I make a request?
Sure.
I would like you to figure some way to just pick him up and use him as a weapon.
I believe we might be able to work something in like that. I think the fastball special comes to mind from the old X-Men comics.
I can show you some of my old matches where I've done that before if you want.
I remember you throwing a few people at using them like a spear, actually.
Yeah. That's pretty fun.
Okay. Well, let's move on to what we're all here to talk about mostly, which is Quest for the Cup. New Generation Wrestling's 12 tag team tournament coming up at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. That starts at 7 o'clock. Now, from here to Crawfordsville is about 2.5 hours, 2:15, 2.5 hours, and you have a time change. So
that sounds about right, yeah.
That's basically, it's not an all-day commitment, but it's pretty darn close to get out of here in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, for us, it's an all-day commitment.
For you guys,
for
yeah,
sure,
absolutely. Yeah. If you like what you hear about this, you can get advance tickets at brownpapertickets.com, and hopefully we'll remember to mention that again. So if you follow New Generation Wrestling on Facebook, you've seen a lot of images put up of some of the tag teams that are going to be participating. We have the list, and the flyers actually have it. Is there going to be a literal cup, like a Stanley Cup? Is there going to be a trophy of some kind, or is it just sort of a metaphor for the champions?
I really don't know.
If there's not a cup, I will be incredibly disappointed. I will put a fan through a table because I want a cup. I will
keep in mind the fans down there will cheer that out of Pinnacle FC for some reason. Children,
the last charity event, I cheap-shotted Chris Gordon. I was cheered. I can't be booed by them.
Yeah, I have witnessed it. He has got cheered for everything.
He's tried his best, and they still love him.
There was that one time you wrestled. What's her name? Chelsea.
Oh no, I think you're thinking of Avista Varlow.
Yes, yes. And you got cheered by beating up a girl. So
a woman.
Yeah,
a professional wrestler.
She is a professional wrestler.
Very talented professional wrestler.
That is true.
Are you just going to step on every single sexist trope while we're talking about things over here? I shouldn't. It's
2019, dog.
He's one of these rich kids.
I was just reading a thread on Facebook that was music related, but there was a little verbal scrap between a few people because it was chatter about an annual heavy metal festival, and they're announcing some of the bands, and somebody requested more female fronted bands, which then launched a little discussion about that's a bad phrase to use because it makes bands with a female singer sound like a genre of its own.
Well, and I'm not one to test the algorithms of Google and YouTube, but I tell you, Ken, every single time I open up YouTube, I watch one video of a power metal band. It might even just be Powerwolf, for instance, and for some reason, Napalm Records comes up with like every female-fronted band you can possibly imagine. And they're all talented, they're all great. It's not always my cup of tea, not because they're female singers. It's just that style of metal is not always my favorite. But it just seems like they're trying to hit a demographic apparently, and I must fall in that demographic. So
I guess so.
But speaking of cups, Quest the Cup.
Yes,
This Saturday, watch Pinnacle FC win a literal or figurative cup.
I'm hoping it's a plastic like party cup,
Oh, what if it's a red Solo cup?
and without that terrible song. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
The list of 12 teams contains some I'm familiar with and some I haven't heard of, and we'll find out if you guys have heard. So jump in. I'm going to go down the list, and we can talk about them as we come along.
Sure.
The top guys.
I don't know anything about these gentlemen. Do you, Thomas? I don't know about you. I don't know where you hang out.
I have not either.
We're just going to apparently just play this off like we know what we're talking about here and act like I'm not reading this directly from the post. Apparently these two are a tag team, Kevin Giza and Adam Slade. I hope I pronounced Kevin's name properly. I guess they've been, for the last year, this year, I guess, been feuding with each other, but they decided to team back up again at this tournament because there is an awful lot of names, and when you hear a couple of them, you're going to be, all right, not us notwithstanding, of course. But, yeah, if they were on this show, I cannot wait to see what they can do because they're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think we can stress enough that every team in this tournament, you can make a very easy argument of why they're the favorites.
Yeah, everybody brings something different to the table. I'll tell you that much, too, from the guys that I do know that are out in the tournament, the gentlemen that I've met, been on shows with, wrestled before. Everybody brings something different to the table. So this is going to be interesting to see what these guys can do.
Yeah,
sure.
There are a lot of familiar names, but some of the ones that aren't familiar, I get the sense that they're pulling them in from a good distance. And so this isn't just Montgomery County tag teams or Central Indiana tag teams. It seems like
you've got
they're
teams
pulling people in from
I think
a
the
ways.
Hooligans go all over the country.
And I believe they're based near Southern Illinois. I've watched them at AAW a couple years ago against the Christ brothers. And watching as a fan, and one of the Hooligan brothers had grabbed my empty beer bucket and put it on Jake Christ's head and absolutely bear-pawed it straight across his face. And it was super entertaining. They were doing moonsaults off the bar and wrestling barefoot in a dirty, dingy floor. And
I did not recognize them from their picture, and there's only so much you can tell from a picture, but they look like they're big.
They're big dudes, and they're very surprisingly agile.
Mm-hmm.
They do flips. They do hard-hitting stuff. I
really hope they get High Society. I want to see them in High Society.
That'll be an interesting matchup. I don't know who they're going to face. If they face you guys, I feel very sorry for you, Thomas Keith.
As a wrestler trying to scope this out, where you're like, man, what team do I want to see in the first round? Like, who's your easy matchup, right? Like, who do I want to see where I can go, hey, can I get a breather? Because we know you got a long road on this. You're not walking in.
Well, and keep in mind with 12,
taking a match.
And keep in mind with 12 teams, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be one-on-one. There's no easy way to do 12 teams in a bracket without doing buys. And I have a feeling, and we don't know how it's going to be laid out. I think there's going to be multiple team matches involved in this, and I don't know how it's going to go. It's probably single elimination as well, but there's no telling what's going to happen when you get the right chemistry, right mix-up of teams in there.
Yeah.
Especially if it's multi-team matches.
There's no team here where you go, like, this is my easy team. Like, I hope I get this team so we can get a quick win, stay fresh, so we know we're coming. I mean, there's no one that I want to say, like, scared of facing or intimidated of facing, but there's no one where I'm going, like, yay, it's them. Maybe High Society, because I do enjoy spearing Young Money through chairs, so I'm sure I could get away with that again. But that saying, soul shooters, big boys.
Yeah.
They're gonna like bring pain. Like that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
the hooligans, big boys, gonna bring pain. TVZ, as far as I know, very athletic. They're probably faster than me, so it's gonna be one of those things where I'm trying to catch somebody all the
It's a
time,
very
right?
big size and speed mismatch with a lot of that.
Bambino brothers, incredibly talented. We've faced them plenty of times in the past. They've only gotten better. They've only gotten bigger. They're young.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these guys are
Yes.
track record against the Bambinos lately.
A lot of back and forth with the Bambinos.
High Society, as
Yep.
much as I hate to admit it, have beaten us recently.
Yep, they have.
taken our titles recently. Has made me very angry recently.
Outside help. Outside help.
The Awesome Odyssey, great young-looking kids. Kids, I say kids, they're not children. But you can see they're in great shape. They're going to move amazing. You got the Shovel Boys. One looks like he's a big, heavy hitter, but they both look like they're thick. They're going to bring in some pain. Gingerverse, Mark Vandy, I faced one time very early on. He was my first singles match was against him, and he booted me very hard in the face, and I didn't kick out of it. So he has a win over me that I've never gotten over him.
Him and his partner both are actually pretty scary individuals.
They are.
They are.
They're legendary. I haven't seen them in a while, but one of them karate chopped me at Smash Mouth Battle Royale and threw me out. So I've been karate chopped by one of them.
A couple shows ago, I seen Legendary and Gingerverse wrestle at New Era, and I wouldn't want to face either of those teams.
Yeah.
I can believe it. And then, God, I don't know if they pronounce it as one word or not. If they pronounce it as letters, I feel bad because I know Sean Kemp. I have seen both these guys wrestle as singles, but I've never seen them
Tag up, yeah.
in person. So I don't know if you're supposed to. I always, for some reason, in my head always call them iffy, but I don't know if it's supposed to be or it's supposed to be IFHY.
IFHY, all in caps.
They're gonna hear this and they're gonna be really mad at me on Saturday. They're gonna be like,
I
can't
hope
believe-"
you get them then.
But they're both incredibly talented. They're very young, but I mean, they're fine. There's no like, oh, this is gonna be my 3-minute cakewalk of a match.
Oh, no.
Haha, we walked in, we walked out. Like, let me joke around with these teams. All these teams are gonna come in. All these teams are gonna want to take the cup. It sucks in terms of my head. For some of it, I feel like I'm sure High Society feels a little this. I feel a little this. We're more of NGW alum, I guess, or you're gonna see us on all the shows, right? You see us around all the time. If you go to NGW, you see High Society, it's like, hey, they're here. They're always gonna be here. You see Pinnacle FC, we're at NGW, right? We brought in a lot of teams for this, and that's great. I love it, but I feel like we have a little extra motivation to go because they're coming to our home.
It's your turf.
Turf, exactly.
And I mean, it's not we're all independent, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, I don't have a contract with anybody where it goes, hey, this guy owns me. Like I can go anywhere I want. I could decide to never go to NGW again if I wanted to for whatever reason, right? But it's a home for me. These were the first people that asked to book me after seeing me wrestle my graduation match. So I'm always going to have a soft spot for them in my heart. And so to think that a team could walk in and take this thing we've never done before, just take it, and then if they decide they don't ever want to come and defend any part of it, this name they could build off of it, it would be awful for me. I don't want someone coming in.
I feel like we let them down.
Yeah, someone coming in and taking this thing and then just walking away. Like,
There's a lot of regular fans that I know will be at that show regardless of the extra people that may be attending just based on the plethora of teams that are going to be there. We got, like I said, the Hooligans, they're known around the entire Midwest. They've traveled down to Mexico this past year. They've wrestled everywhere you can possibly imagine. And I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, and we have to also prove ourselves to folks who are probably not regular attendees of NGW. We always love a challenge, but as TK said, and I'm sure Thomas and Mr. Young Money would agree, this is where we consider one of our homes that we tend to perform at regularly. We love going down there. They love taking off the fans. We love making the fans happy in every way that we possibly can, and the people who run NGW have been nothing but great in giving us the opportunities they have, and so we want to do our best and show everyone on the show that as well that we're good enough to hang with them. And we welcome the challenge as well.
And
We know it's going to be a fight.
I promise this to you, Ken, and anybody listening, which is everybody because TK's
TK0
on,
is
so
on.
you're welcome. But I can't promise that Pinnacle FC is going to win. I'm not going to be that bold, but I can promise that we're going to go down swinging at the very least. Like, if we lose, we're taking somebody with us. Like, we will take a chunk of a team with us if we have to go down. Like, someone's walking to the next round, the next match, or if it's in the final, they're just going to be gimping and limping out of the building. We're going to take a huge chunk out of somebody. Someone is going to have to be willing to sacrifice some of their soul to be sure that they take us out.
And normally we disagree, but this is something we can agree on. Me and Young Money are the NGW Tag Champs. We have a little extra weight on our shoulders. Like you guys said, we got NGW. That's like one of our home feds.
Your green belts are ugly, though.
Yeah, green and gold. Ugh. Hang out the Masters while you're at it. Oh, wait, we do.
We already do. So
That is a lot of green if they're all in the same place.
It's going to be a great show on the 12th, though.
Yeah.
Everybody better
Absolutely.
go, even if you're here. So even if this is a bit of a drive from this area up here, but that being said, you're still leaving early afternoonish.
Mm-hmm.
Nice thing is going to be when the show's over, when you drive back, you're going to get that hour back. It doesn't really kill that much of your night because
Nope.
it's not going to be like midnight the show's ending, right? We're going to be under around 9-ish. So you take your 2-hour drive, right? Really is an hour. So you go to 9 to 11 Eastern, but it's really going to be 10 here. So you're going to have plenty of the night to go out. If you're up here in Valpo, I'll see you at Franklin House. Cheap plug for Franklin House, where I go and spend my money, but my ACW and NGW money. But no, it's not. It's an easy drive. It's really like take 65 down, take 421 down if you want to see a lot of burnt up, dead small towns of Indiana.
That's the way I go.
Here we go again.
That's not even an insult. That's a little. Have you been through Saint Pierre? The first time I drove through that, I was like, "Oh my God, this is what the recession did. It killed this place, didn't it?" But that's my political talk today.
Maybe high society could just drive through and throw some bills out the window.
I think they would be terrified of driving through there.
Yeah, we might get robbed.
You would get robbed. But they don't notice me in my very just pedestrian vehicle. I'm a man of the people.
Hopefully it'll be a nice, crisp, clear fall evening for a good drive like that. It is an easy drive. I've done it several times. You guys have done it a lot more
Yeah.
from up in this corner.
Oh, yeah.
So in terms of the length of the show, it sounds like none of us know exactly what the setup is going to be, but I thought really hard about this, and I did figure out that if there's 12 tag teams, there has to be at least 6 matches.
Yeah.
I figured that out.
Yeah.
Well, you could have one team match with 12 teams. That would be kind of awesome.
Just have a big battle royal, and
I
whoever.
don't even think the larger ACW ring that's 20 by 20 could hold all 12 teams all the way around.
Well, it definitely would have held a lot of these teams, the soul shooters, and like oh my God, I hope they go against each other. But if you put them in a ring, like I'm sure those are that's some meat. That's
A lot of big boys.
those
Strong
are big
guys.
boys. Yeah, that's not like they're fat. Like
No,
that's like
no.
oh my God,
They're
that's a lot
solid.
of muscle. And they intimidate me with that muscle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too scared. I will still stand against it, but I do know it's going to hurt a lot. I'd much rather just deal with the Young Money, who, even though he hurts a lot, I can still get back up from.
Yeah, and if it's strictly single elimination, there's going to have to be 11 matches. So somewhere in between 6 to 11, but either way, that's a decent length.
And remember, tickets
On
are
either
on
bookend.
brownpapertickets.com.
brownpapertickets.com. Some of these folks obviously don't have the benefit of being here on the air. So
Just a
maybe
couple
we
of them.
can. Yeah, I didn't invite 24 people to come into the studio this evening.
That would be interesting, actually.
Some of them, though, have spoken out via Facebook, so maybe we can take a few minutes and listen to what some of them have to say. You mentioned, TK, that that Sean Kemp and Jonathan Wolf, you didn't want them chasing after you. From the sound of this particular audio clip, they might have trouble finding you because there could be a little bit of disorganization going on. But this is Sean Kemp of IFHY. Do any of us know what that stands for? I don't. No. Okay. But this is it's weird.
So mad at you.
Yeah.
Not me.
It's his fault.
What was it you called him? Iffy?
That's how you pronounce the word.
But this is almost a visual clip rather than an audio clip. But it starts out with Sean Kemp rooting through a car looking for something.
Well, let's just hope Jonathan doesn't realize I messed up again. So, we were supposed to cut a promo about October 12th and how we were going to be in the tag team tournament taking place at Montgomery County Fairgrounds. But we got an invite and I done lost it. So he doesn't know. And I don't have the paper. But I'm just going to say it. I did already. I'm just a big dumb idiot. I hope Jonathan doesn't see this. But October 12th, IFHY enters in the NGW Tag Team Tournament. Because guess what? Indiana is our home. Indiana is our territory. So October 12th at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. That was hard to say. It's kind of a tongue twister for me. We're taking home the title. I mean, the trophy. I don't know. I'm lost. I lost the invitation. He's going to be upset. I'm sorry. Do you see this? Don't cut it.
So he did pronounce it as IFHY, it sounded like.
I'm going to take a stab and guess it's Indiana's finest hitting youth.
That's not bad.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Well, you mentioned that Gingerverse, Mark Vandy and Jake Braun look intimidating. They are
booted me before.
They are people of few words, though, as you can tell here.
Hey everybody, Mark Vandy here, alongside Jacob Braun, collectively known as the Gingerverse. We'll be coming to the Montgomery County Fairgrounds October 12th for the New Generation Wrestling's Quest for the Cup. 12 tag teams from across the country, us included. We'll see you guys there.
That was it.
Yep. Short and sweet, to the point. I like it.
All the information was there. The Shovel Boys.
Brother, it's wrestling promo time. We got a cage behind us.
Oh, yeah,
wrestling promo we're talking about. October 12th, Quest for the Cup. We're going to Indiana in a tag team tournament.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Wait a minute. Did you say Indiana?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You mean we gotta drive north to that god-awful state with the no-good gas stations, cornfields everywhere, flatland, nothing to see, and don't even get me started on some of the what?
Brother, we're baby faces.
Oh, so you mean Indiana?
Yeah.
Home of the Hoosiers. I am. Oh, let me tell you something. Tag team tournament, Quest for the Cup. Is that what it is?
That's what it's called.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. I've looked at the roster.
Yeah.
You got indie veterans.
Yep.
You got indie darlings.
Yep.
You got up-and-comers and people trying to make a name for themselves. But what you have is the Shovel Boys. And we're coming to make a name for ourselves. And we will bury any talent stepping in our way.
And guess what? We can't wait to be in Indiana.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
I hope they get you.
Here we've got Awesome Odyssey, Chris Copeland and Jack Andrews.
I am Chris Copeland.
I am Jack Andrews.
And we are the Awesome Odyssey. NGW, the Quest for the Cup, a tag team tournament, Jack. What do you think about that?
What I think about a tournament, that's just what the Odyssey needs. It's an adventure, it's a quest.
That's what an Odyssey is, right? An Odyssey is a quest, and the Awesome Odyssey loves a challenge. If you don't know who we are, you're going to learn. Because we got that tournament in the bag.
So they sound pretty confident. After hearing those 4 different clips, Any new thoughts about, maybe we do want to take on this group?
I want to take all of them on. Don't get me wrong. I will tell you how dangerous all of them are. They are all incredibly dangerous. They could all beat Pinnacle FC, but I believe Pinnacle FC could beat all of them. So I'm not trying to sound arrogant with what I'm saying here. I'm just trying to be honest with what I'm saying. Of course, I'm going to come in swinging on all of them because that's what I get paid to do. That's what Drex gets paid to do. That's why I take Thomas Benjamin Keith's money to do. Take his money too. So I'm there's none of them that has changed my mind about who I want or when I want them. You're just going to put us against somebody, and that's how it's going to go. It doesn't matter. If you ask me, like, who do I really want to see first, I want to see the Bambinos first because they're incredible, and they're only getting better, and I've seen them when they were very new. I've seen them now. They're just getting better, and they kind of had a little history with us early on. They kind of helped solidify us as a better team early on, and we actually chased them out of NGW at one point.
Out of Crawfordsville, yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of get along better now than we did then. There's not a lot of hard feelings like we used to have, but they pushed us early on, and I think we pushed them early on, and they've gotten better. So it's one of those things where I'd love to go against them early just to see, hey, like I know when we were a team versus team 2 years ago, we were here. So I'd like to use them as a measuring stick again. That'll tell us, and I'm sure they're going to take offense to this, but after we beat them, if we were to get them in the first round, and no offense, Pops, I love your kids, but I'll beat them. At least I'll throw Drex at them to beat them. That will tell us where we're at. That will tell us, hey, if it took us that big match we had where they had to leave Crawfordsville, that took us almost 20 minutes. Yeah. I want to say that was a battle because that was our belts, that was their pride. It was a very hot, humid middle of the day in Indiana, and we went to war with each other, and we hit each other really hard, and we threw a lot of stuff at each other, and they finally went down barely, and we barely got back up. But after we beat them, we know, hey, if I think the Bambinos are the number one team in this in terms of coming to us, that tells me, okay, hey, we're good. We're going to keep rolling through this. Unless somebody comes out with Buck Sexton, we're going to be okay. And so that would be my...
I don't think he'll be there, so I mean...
So
good.
It'd be either that or give me Gingerverse so I can get my win back.
Like you said, too, Bambinos, High Society Bambinos have been going at it a lot. I mean, Friday you're going to see us against each other. You might see us Saturday, too, against each other.
Up at High Voltage.
Yeah, over at High Voltage.
Over at Backbreaker.
Yes. No, not Backbreaker.
Not yet. Oh no,
they wrestled the Masters.
That's right. They wrestled the. I can't keep you guys. You guys all.
But yeah,
I've wrestled everywhere.
October 12th. You don't know what team's going to get what team down at NGW Quest for the Cup.
We might even get put together.
Yep,
and I'd love to beat you up. I'd love because I'm still a little upset. I'm a little upset about the whole fact that they have my belts.
But going through this whole list, there's a couple teams that me and Young Money would like to face.
Yeah. Yep.
Expand,
please. Who?
Well, let's see.
Well, you've already mentioned Bambinos. And
Bambinos, you guys.
Uh-huh.
I've seen Legendary work. I would love to work Legendary. Gingerverse. Everyone on this list I would love to work sometime.
Sucko.
Yeah.
Soul Shooters are going to murder you.
Yep.
I'm gonna message them that you've been talking bad about them. Soul Shooters just going to straight up murder you, and it's going to be awesome.
Now, Thomas, something you just said made me think of this question. Does the fact that you're going to take on the Bambinos on Friday night, when you're planning for that, do you have anything in your mind about the fact that you've got to save something back for Saturday night, or is it just one thing at a time and you just put one event out of your mind when you're in another?
Society, we always have something in our back pocket, whether it be low blows, hey,
Openly
weapons.
admitting to
Yes.
cheating
Your
and
first
circumventing the
your
rules
first
of professional wrestling.
Well, it works for
I don't
Trump.
come. Yeah. I don't come
Here's
here.
my special move, the low blow.
Thank you, China.
You have them speechless. Anyways, October
enough of this,
12th,
gentlemen.
come on down to NGW Quest for the Cup. The tickets are on sale at Brown Paper Bag.
Event-
Brownpapertickets.com.
There you go.
Excuse me. Pops is going to be so upset with me. Quest for the Cup. Come on
Montgomery
down.
County Fairgrounds.
Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Thank you. Just
welcome.
keep feeding my lines.
You're
Feed me.
welcome.
Next line.
There's a
October
couple-
12th. For the love of God, come down. We need hundreds of fans.
To cheer
I want
us on.
everybody to come, buy my stuff. I want to sell a bunch of T-shirts. Ken, tell everybody to buy my T-shirts. You
Buy
coming
his
down,
T-shirts.
right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Come and buy a bunch of my T-shirts. You can buy other people's stuff too, but buy mostly my stuff, right? Support me and Drex.
And them even?
No.
No, okay.
Support us, Pinnacle FC, the coolest tag team.
Yeah, I think that about wraps that up. Tom's got any words there on that?
Nope.
Nobody cares.
Well, I will take a second here since you asked if I was going. I'm gonna plug myself for a second.
Please do.
I'm actually going to be a sponsor. So I'm going to have it. I go to a lot of shows and I set up the WVLP table and I record the audio, bring it back here, edit it up, play it the next night or the next weekend or whatever. I hope that the organizations get something out of that. But this time I'm actually going to sponsor a table. I'm going to sponsor it under the name of Metal Professors Math Tutoring. Ooh. And so what I'm going to do is I'll have a table, I'll bring the radio stuff for during the show, but before the show and during intermission, I will be offering free math tutoring to any kid who comes in and brings some math homework and needs some help on it. I'm going to be at my table and I'm going to help them out.
Please make a post about that on Facebook. So
I
we can share
plan
that
on
for you.
doing that. Yeah.
I love math. Math number one.
We always
Number
break
one.
it.
I do break math.
We break math.
Other thing we forgot to kind of plug, and this is pretty cool. It's not standard for what we do usually in a lot of our shows, but there's a meet and greet before the show starts from 5:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
So
And
should
doors
come
typically open at
5:30.
5:30. So
6:30 it's usually.
no, show starts usually at 6:30.
Oh,
This is
you're right.
Eastern
I'm sorry.
time we're
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
I'm
here.
sorry. Anyways, yeah, meet and greet, right? So we usually don't do meet and greets. Usually it's just come in, sit down, show starts,
Sure.
and then intermission. We'll mingle around, buy my stuff. I'll sign some stuff. Everybody's happy, right? So there's going to be a meet and greet. We don't usually do that. Come early, come hungry, eat some hot dogs, drink some soda, buy my stuff.
Buy my beer koozies. Drink koozies if your beer's not your poison.
But yeah, so that's really cool. You're going to be able to meet all these guys. That's not you don't see that in a lot of kind of local shows. There's plenty of other shows do that. It's not like it's the first person that's ever come up with a meet and greet, obviously, but really cool and cool on you for sponsoring and
it's
helping
fantastic.
children with math.
Yeah, hopefully at least a couple of people will come over and say, I can't factor this polynomial, help me out.
No one's ever said that.
That's not a sentence that gets uttered very often. There's a fan named Larry Mullins who posted on the NGW Facebook that says, if the Bambino brothers do not win the tag team titles, or maybe he meant the cup, it will be a crying shame.
I will
So at
make
least
him incredibly upset when
one-
they're
yeah.
not the ones to win because Pinnacle FC does. Like, I will find him specifically, and I don't usually do this with fans down there because I usually get along with the fans down there. But I will find Larry, and if he's still upset, I might make him feel worse.
I'll give him a big hug.
I won't. Larry, you're on the list.
Now, we've talked before about how the kids down there are a lot smarter, and
Yep.
they tend to like you as opposed to the kids up here.
Yeah, and they're that smart, Ken. Unfortunately, you may not have too many of them coming up to ask for some help with math.
So maybe
because
they can help me
obviously-
then.
Yeah, exactly. They like TK. Obviously, they're intelligent.
I have one more audio clip to play. We've got 4 or 5 minutes left to go here. You may have noticed, if you listen for these things, that in the listing of the 12 teams, which one more time, the top guys, IFHY, Legendary, Gingerverse, the Awesome Odyssey, the Shovel Boys, the Bambino Brothers, the Hooligans, TVZ, Soul Shooters, High Society, and Pinnacle FC. There's a certain gender balance or imbalance there, and that's been noted by some friends of IFHY who had this to say on Facebook. This is hot off the presses. This just came around the NGW Facebook page today.
What's going on? said.
Why?
You weren't invited for the Quest of the Cup.
Are you actually crying?
Yeah. Like I'm big sad about this.
Okay, well, you know who else is in it?
The freaking boys are in it, Kip and Wolf.
Our boys?
Yes, and we weren't invited, but they were invited. We beat them. The freaking top guys? The top guys haven't existed for the past year.
Hey, they just gotta come back all of a sudden at timeout.
Whack. And then Bambinos? Trash.
I mean, Dom's breed talk, he could probably squish us both.
Nah, he's slack. This man is just a pixie stick.
There's only one way to find out.
Wait. We'll talk about that later. Just like, I can't right now. I'm too upset.
Clear mind.
Hey, let's talk about this thing.
So that was Billy Starks and her tag team partner. I don't know the other one's name, but maybe they'll make an appearance, try to make a statement about this. Who knows?
Their first target should be high society. I just want to get that out there right now. Let's be honest, Thomas.
Watch yourself on October 12th. This Saturday. Everybody's coming out. Everybody wants the cup. NGW, come on down.
Exactly. And you can buy your tickets at
brownpapertickets.com.
Or when you get there.
Or when you get there, they should be available at the door still.
Have we mentioned how much they are? I think they're
affordable.
Yeah, I think probably $10. I don't know if there's special rates for front row. Here, look that up.
All tickets are $15, I believe.
15. Okay.
Yep. So. There's also a family pass, which I believe is 4 tickets for $35. I believe that's how that works out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, High Society's rates must have gone up, and that's causing ticket inflation.
Yep. Just to clarify, the normal NGW start time is 6:30. It's going to be 7 o'clock actually for the show. I just double checked now to make sure. Yeah. Because I knew something was a little different than normal, other than the meet and greet. So
still come down, meet everybody on October 12th.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch. Buy other people's merch, but mostly mine.
Okay. With 1 minute left to go, any last comments,
October
predictions?
12th, NGW. Watch Pinnacle FC win the Quest for the Cup.
Never heard of it.
Come on down.
Never heard of that thing ever once.
Okay. I have to look over here at the computer to make sure I turn the audio back on.
Google it a lot to make sure you know all the information if I didn't say anything. October 12th, NGW.
Montgomery County Fairgrounds.
Quest for the Cup.
brownpapertickets.com.
Pinnacle FC.
Buy our merch.
Who have you got between Seth Rollins and The Fiend?
I honestly am I'm hoping for The Fiend, to be totally honest with you. I think it's a fantastic gimmick.
Thank you for being here instead of glued to your television set watching that stuff.
Thanks for having us, Ken.
I'm still catching up on the G1, so I think I'm on August 11th.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. It's been a pleasure. As always, the
October
time
12th.
goes by really fast.
Thanks for having us, Ken.
Wait, what date was that again?
October 12th.
October 12th.
Okay, next weekend.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.